All right, everyone. Happy lunchtime. Welcome to Lunchtime Live. We're going to be here during the week, going live at lunchtime to answer all of your questions, your concerns about immigration. Leading up to Trump taking office, we'll be talking about what you can do now. What you should be doing now if you are undocumented or if you are not a citizen. We will be going over tips and suggestions. We'll be talking about what we think is coming. We'll be talking about ways that we survived the first Trump administration serving immigrants. I'm also going to be talking about ways that I think that we need to care for ourselves during this next Trump administration as immigrants, as people who serve immigrants. We are currently hiring. So if you enjoy working with immigrants, but you're questioning whether you can continue for 4 more years of Trump, many people chose to leave the profession during the first Trump administration. Many people have started considering whether they will be able to continue for another 4 years of Trump. So we are not stopping. We are not backing down, but we are taking a look at what we will need to do in order to survive the next 4 years and push in and continue to fight for our clients. So if you or anyone you know works in immigration or has worked in immigration or is bilingual and is interested in working in immigration, we're developing and have already started working on a 32-hour work week schedule. Because we feel that it's such intense work that we do, it is very important to make sure that we are taking an appropriate amount of time away from the work that we do. And so many immigration attorneys are coming to work for us because we offer that work-life balance. We also offer it to our support staff. Our support staff currently is at 36 hours. Our attorneys are at 32 hours. So if you are starting to think about whether or not you can stay in immigration law and continue to serve immigrants, please reach out to us. We are hiring and will be hiring for the near future. We anticipate we will be doing a lot of work to continue to help immigrants even through the next 4 years. So if you have been contemplating leaving our profession, please, I beg you, please stay. Immigrants need us now more than ever. And there is a better way to incorporate self-care with the work that we do. It is incredibly a lot of secondary trauma that we experience from hearing the stories of our clients. And so we really do our best to make sure that everyone has a work week that works with their family, that works with their life, that works with self-care, that works with time off. And so if you are concerned about how you will survive 4 years with Trump, please reach out to us. We would love to talk with you about openings in our firm right now. So we're going to be advertising quite a bit moving into the next few months, and we're hiring for all positions: admin, legal assistants, paralegals, and attorneys. Please reach out if you have if you're bilingual and you have any experience. Even if you don't have experience, we have entry-level positions open. So thank you everybody who's joining. I'm here to answer any questions that you have about what changes will be made, what we're anticipating will happen once Trump takes office in January. I'm going to be here daily answering these questions because there will be so many changes over the next 4 years. If the first 4 years of Trump were any indication, and if his campaign promises are even remotely true, we are going to be very busy. And there are going to be a lot of changes, and a lot of people's lives are going to be impacted, and it's going to be very important that clear communication, information is presented in a way that is understandable and that makes sense. And so we are going to be here making sure that that information gets out to the right people. And ask for your help with that. Please share these videos with anyone that you think might need the information. Encourage them to come on at lunchtime if they want to ask a quick question. We'll be talking about different topics on these days, but also encourage them to call us. The phone number is at the bottom of the screen here on the live stream. It's not on TikTok. I'm not sure how to add things yet to TikTok Live. I'm kind of older, if you haven't noticed. So technology for me, you young kids are teaching me a lot about technology. So I'm still trying to figure some things out, but we'll get better at this each day that we do it. And but you also, if you can't come onto the lives, or if the person you want to recommend can't come onto the lives, take down our phone number. Encourage them to connect with us on social media, and we do a free discovery call. We do that once a year for each person, so we encourage people to call back. If we told you that there's no options today, please make sure that you stay in touch and call back. And once you're in our system, you'll be getting updates, regular information about changes to immigration law. So that is a great way to stay informed. If you are an immigrant, or you love an immigrant, or you care about immigrants, this is information that you're going to want to know. I'm trying my best today. Yesterday, I was all fired up, right? I told everybody that my natural response to anxiety is to fight. So I was pretty fired up yesterday. To be honest, I woke up in the middle of the night crying, feeling very, very sad for our country, and very sad, very stressed about what the next 4 years are going to mean. And that's okay. We're going to have a range of emotions. We're going to have to process these emotions as they come. It's a grief, right? It's a shock, and it's something that we were not expecting, something that we were not hoping for. So we're going to take time to process these emotions. And as I'm doing that, I'm trying to logically understand how we got here. How did Trump get elected? And one of the things that I'm trying to convince myself is that people just don't understand what it will mean for immigrants, how hard it will be for immigrants, because many people don't have an immigrant in their life. ¿Qué pasa ahora con los que metimos aplicación con el nuevo presidente? Gracias por la pregunta en español, porque me recuerda que necesito también hablar en español en estos lives. No sabemos todavía cuáles cambios va a haber con el nuevo presidente. Los que ya tienen sus casos adentro deben de procesar normal. Espero que inmigración va a procesar lo más rápido posible antes de enero, antes de que empiece Trump. Pero no sabemos todavía cuáles cambios se va a hacer. Lo que sabemos es lo que él hizo antes, y creemos que él va a hacer por lo menos lo mismo, sino más. Entonces, lo que vimos en los primeros 4 años con Trump fue de que vimos que los casos tardaron más tiempo. ¿Por qué? Porque pusieron más atención, más scrutiny, más críticamente estaban revisando todo bien para ver si de verdad iba a ser aprobado o no, o negado. Entonces, lo que debe esperar después de enero es de que van a estar enfocándose más. Las aprobaciones sin entrevista, yo creo que ya no va a ser. Entonces, debemos de esperar más entrevistas, eso quiere decir más tiempo, más costos para los servicios legales, más viajes al lugar, la ciudad cercana donde su caso está procesando. Entonces, debe de esperar que va a ser, por lo menos, va a ser más tardado, y que a lo mejor también vamos a ver más casos negados. También vimos esto. Allá, ¿cuándo es el límite para meter los documentos? No sé si de qué tipo de caso está hablando. para el límite. Estamos recomendando los que tienen casos o que tienen opciones que los presenten con inmigración lo antes posible, antes que Trump empieza en enero, porque todo va a cambiar y los que ya están adentro esperamos que se va a poder procesar normalmente sin problemas, pero no podemos asegurarlo. Pero por lo menos los programas que están ahorita, por ejemplo, DACA. Estamos animando a todos, si tiene DACA que se va a vencer en los próximos o en el año que entra, se dice que no debe de renovar más de 6 meses antes que se vence, pero no es cierto. Se puede renovar mucho antes de los 6 meses y no sabemos qué va a pasar con DACA, porque la primera cosa que Trump atacó en 2016 fue DACA y ya vemos que el DACA no se puede renovar. Tiene que, o sea, si se vence más de un año, ya no se puede renovar. Los que no tenían DACA antes no pueden solicitar el DACA. Eso, desde 2016-17, esta decisión todavía está con las cortes federales. Entonces, si tiene algo, una opción ahorita, hay que pensar que muy probable no va a ser opción en el nuevo año. So we're recommending that people take action as soon as possible, take advantage of the programs that are currently in place. For example, DACA. If you have DACA and it's going to expire sometime next year, renew it now. Don't wait until the 6 months before. They tell you you're supposed to wait till 6 months before, but renew it now because we don't know after January what's going to happen to DACA. That was like the first thing that Trump attacked was DACA. And so now that case is still ongoing in the federal courts. If you wait more than 1 year, if it expires more than 1 year, you can't renew your DACA. And if you didn't have it before, you can't get it now. So DACA is a mess. And we expect that it'll be even worse under this new administration with DACA, with Trump. If you're eligible for advanced parole through DACA, again, we recommend that you take advantage of the programs that are in place right now, because we don't know what's going to happen with those programs in the future. If you have the ability to get your green card, your resident status through marriage or some other way, do that. These temporary programs like DACA, temporary protected status, what else? Parole, humanitarian parole. We're going to see an attack against these programs because we already saw that under the first Trump administration. Esos programas que son temporales como DACA, TPS, el parol, hay que aprovechar que tenemos la opción ahorita porque yo creo que ya no va a ser opción en el nuevo año. Entonces hay que tomar acción ya. Todavía hay tiempo para protegerse y los recomiendo. So one of the things that Trump has promised, or one of his main campaign promises about immigration, was to begin mass deportations. And leading up to the elections, I was talking about this and, trying to get the word out about how bad this could be under Trump. And like I was saying earlier, I think that people just don't understand like how bad it's going to be. Number one, because it doesn't affect them. But number two, they really don't understand how much damage Trump did to the immigration system and how much damage he has planned. I got a text from my dad. Even he was like, well, you've got years of experience helping immigrants now, decades of experience. That should help you to help them, right? And I'm like, well, if they just take away the system completely, like Trump's saying that he wants to do, then what? My experience can't help someone if there's nothing that I can do for them. So I'm trying to convince myself that this was a vote for for economical reasons and that people just didn't understand. But I'm afraid that people are going to see very quickly the damage that their vote for Trump has done to our country, to their friends, their family, their loved ones. And that's, it's going to be really unfortunate. Estoy diciendo que incluyendo mi papá no entiende bien qué tan complicado es inmigración y qué tanto daño hizo Trump cuando él era presidente y qué tanto daño va a hacer. Entonces él me dijo, lo siento mucho que va a ser más difícil, pero tienes bastantes años haciendo esto, entonces puedes ayudar a inmigrantes. Y yo estoy pensando y recordándome que él no entiende qué tan difícil es ayudar personas cuando no hay opciones, cuando las leyes están en contra, cuando quitan los programas, cuando quitan sus opciones y cuando las cortes procesan casos tan rápido y no le da tiempo de hacer nada. Entonces, por favor, espero que no va a ser tan difícil como estoy pensando, pero hay que tomarlo en serio y ayudarlos alrededor de buscar información ahorita para poder tomar acción. Be happy to answer any questions. I've already had a couple questions on here asking about what's going to happen when Trump takes office, and that's what we're talking about. We'll be talking about this every day leading up to the elections. So Trump has said one of his promises was to reenact, or I don't know what he would call it, this Alien Enemies Act, which I had never even heard of. It's from 1798 when it was first created. And the last time we used it apparently was World War II. So it's a wartime policy or law that you can invoke to do these mass deportations that he wants to do without giving them due process. So due process means that even if you're here undocumented, you still have a right to go to court. You have a right to your rights. You have a right to have an attorney. You have a right to process any applications that you might be eligible for. That is due process. And under the Alien Enemies Act, they can give a reason why they want to just jump over that due process and just take people from their homes to their country. Can they do this? I don't know. I've never seen it. I don't think I wasn't alive during World War II, so I don't remember what that was like, and I haven't studied enough on it to know what it was like. But it exists, and the fact that he wants to invoke it during this time and says that it will help them to deport criminals and gang members. And, of course, he uses this language that's, of course, anyone would be like, yes, we need this. We need to protect our country. We need to get rid of these people who are causing harm. But and then extending it using this very small group of part of the immigrants to extend this policy, this act to all immigrants. That is problematic, right? Because that is not okay. So will he be able to do that? And how quickly will the courts be able to stop him? And how many people will be caught up and deported before the courts stop him? Estamos hablando de algo que Trump hizo una promesa que desde el primer día va a empezar de deportar a todos. Y yo antes de las elecciones, yo estuve tratando de explicar que no es tan fácil deportar a todos porque tiene su proceso y sus derechos legales. Entonces, ¿cómo van a detener a todos cuando no hay lugar suficiente? ¿Cómo van a procesar los casos cuando no hay jueces suficientes? Entonces, acabo de aprender que cuesta $11,000 para deportar una sola persona. Entonces, 11,000 cada persona. ¿Cómo van a gastar tanto para deportar millones, lo que él está prometiendo hacer? Entonces, yo estoy pensando cómo se va a poder hacerlo, pero ahora que entiendo que él quiere usar una ley desde la sigla 1700 o algo, que es para tiempo de guerra, para quitar los derechos legales, brincar el proceso legal y solo deportar a todos. Esto es lo que quiere hacer, diciendo que hay demasiado inmigrante que son pandillero y vendedor de drogas y son violentos, y que así le da una excusa de deportar a todos, que no están haciendo nada mal, al contrario, están haciendo todo para apoyar el país. esto es lo que quiere usar para deportar. ¿Puede hacerlo? Pues yo no sé. Yo creo que va a intentar hacerlo y luego las cortes tal vez personas van a hacer demandas para ampararlo, pero la preocupación es cuántas personas van a sufrir, cuántos hijos ciudadanos van a perder sus padres um, por este estilo de deportación. Es mi miedo, es mi pesadilla. We're talking about Trump's promise to deport millions and how he would do that. I've been talking about the cost. It costs $11,000 to deport one person. So how will this be possible if you multiply that by millions of dollars? That is a lot of money. I'm not going to do the math now. But I've been saying, like, how would it be possible to detain all of these people and to give them the due process in the court? And, there's just not, the court system's overwhelmed already. And so he has been promising what's the word? To renew this Alien Enemies Act that is used during times of war. It's never been used outside of wartime, but it can be used to then circumvent, to jump over these due process legal rights that immigrants have. Immigrants, even if they're here undocumented, they still have rights under the Constitution and are required to receive due process. So they get their day in court. They can process any cases that they're eligible for. They have rights to attorneys and, all of these things. So how to jump over those is to use this act and justifying it by saying, well, there's gang members and there's violent criminal aliens that we need to deport, and then wrapping into there all your neighbors, your family, who are not doing any of these things. On the contrary, they are working and paying taxes, and they have children that were born here. How many of them are going to get caught up in this and deported before, obviously there's going to be lawsuits to stop it. I'm grateful for the work of ACLU and other pro-immigrant organizations that have the manpower to file these lawsuits. So there will be lawsuits, but the question is, how long will it take to stop this, and how many people will get caught up and will be victims of this? How many U.S. citizen children are going to have their parents ripped away from them for no reason other than to fulfill this campaign promise that half of Americans seem to think that we need mass deportations of immigrants. Again, I've said this before and I'll say it again. I would love to see, I don't want to see it, but I would love to see just one community realize the difference of having if all immigrants were taken away for one day, to be able to recognize the work and the importance, the way that a community is propped up by immigrants. So someone here is saying that they have an LPR since 1985, have not renewed, married to a U.S. citizen. What is the next step? Your next step is to call us. It's a little bit complicated, but we do a free consultation process. We'd love to look at your options. If you've been a permanent resident that long, you're probably still a permanent resident unless you've done something to lose it. There is a way to lose your residency. And so we can check to see if you're still if it's still valid. And then we would recommend anyone who's been a permanent resident that long. You wrote the question in English, so English is not an issue for you. But even if you're afraid it might be an issue for you, if you've been a permanent resident that long and you're over the age of 50, you can do the citizenship test in your native language. So give us a call and we'd be happy to look at that for you. We are recommending anyone who is not a citizen to file for naturalization as soon as possible. Number one, so you can vote in the next election, because clearly, I don't know, I say clearly, it seems like a lot of the Latino vote went to Trump, which is something I still can't quite wrap my head around. If somebody has an explanation for that, I'd love to hear it. But can you check your own status? Not really. There's not like a website that you can go on to check to see if your permanent residency is still valid, but we can help you request a copy of your file and renew it if need be. So give us a call. The number's 541-653-8899. So we're recommending people naturalize to become citizens so that they can vote in the next election. Obviously, it's too late for this one, but if our country is really heading down this path that's anti-immigrant, we need all of the immigrants to stand up and say, hey, I'm here. This is home for me. I've spent all of this time here. Now it's time for me to become a citizen and to voice my opinion about what direction our country should go. The vote is the voice. And if you're not a citizen, you don't have a voice here. So highly recommend anyone become a citizen just for that one reason, to be able to vote, but also because I'm very concerned about attacks. Trump has promised attacks on undocumented immigrants and also documented immigrants. So that includes permanent residents. It is not, even though it's called permanent residency, green card holders, it is not a permanent status. Thank you, Andrea. I think it's Andriana. Thank you for all the likes. I really appreciate that. I'm so happy to see that there are people who are pro-immigrant, and I'm happy to see that. Okay, Tammy, thank you for your comment here. If all immigrants were taken away, then grocery prices, amongst others, would go up instead of down. Exactly. Like, who's going to go out and do all of the agricultural work? And what is that going, what wage are they going to require? And then what is that? That's going to have a direct impact on the prices. So as I was saying earlier, I trying to convince myself that people voted for Trump because our economy is still struggling after the pandemic, and they haven't been happy enough with Biden's response, and they don't have the confidence that Harris would turn it around. And Trump has promised, to not tax tips, whatever that means, and whatever he's promised that he thinks will improve the economy. So I've seen some posts on social media, like hopefully that 50-cent increase and the 50-cent lowering of the groceries, however people think that he's going to have some impact on groceries. It's called price gouging, people. Like the stores are setting a price. Inflation raised up the prices and they just haven't dropped them because people are still paying them. So I don't know how people think Trump is going to impact that. But anyways, I digress. I'm trying to convince myself that people did it for economic reasons. But as Jose and Tammy Alcazar pointed out here with this comment, they don't understand that all of the people who are going to be deported, that is going to have a direct impact on the economy as well. Okay, Sean, my green card holder spouse is going to file for his citizenship in December. Can he file for you at the same time? It depends on what your status is. I usually recommend that people actually start the process for their spouse even while they have their green card, because you can do it either as a permanent resident or as a citizen. And so it's going to be faster and less complicated if you do it as a citizen, but you can start the process as a permanent resident. And then once you your spouse becomes a citizen, you can change the processing to file as a spouse of a citizen. As a spouse of a citizen. So we'd love to help you with that. I'm so excited to hear that your spouse is going to file the naturalization for citizenship in December. That's awesome. Hopefully they can process that quickly and he will have status. Okay, I'm going to take down this comment. Estamos platicando sobre la economía y qué va a ser el impacto de tantas deportaciones. You're welcome, Sean. Thanks for the question. Estamos hablando de qué tanto impacto va a ser con la economía si hay deportaciones, como Trump está prometiendo. Por ejemplo, los que vayan a hacer la cosecha de fresas en junio. Si no hay inmigrantes para hacerlo, ¿quién va a hacerlo y cuánto van a tener que pagar esas personas para hacerlo? Sueldo, el pago va a afectar el precio de las fresas. Entonces, las que votaron, muchos hispanos votaron para Trump y eso es algo que no entiendo. Me gustaría que alguien me lo explicara. Tengo entendido que la economía fue algo muy importante para los que votaron para Trump, fue un base para votar para él. Pero los que hicieron basado en la economía, que quieren que los precios en las tiendas bajen, no entienden que son las tiendas que están aprovechando. Todos los precios subieron con inflation y no han bajado porque las personas todavía están pagando. Sean, the consultations are free. We do a free discovery call process. Our phone number is 541-653-8899. We'd be happy to take a look and let you know what we recommend for you. We definitely recommend people start sooner rather than later because we don't know exactly what changes are going to happen. We do expect quick changes. There is already something called Project 2025. If you haven't heard about it, the thing that Trump tried so hard to say he didn't know anything about, it is a blueprint for what they are going to do within the first 100 days. And we saw that Trump loved to do executive orders. The very thing that Republicans complained that Obama did for immigration, they did time and time again. Trump did so many executive orders. I had the number at one point, but I'll have to look it up again. So many executive orders were done to impact immigration because you don't have to go through Congress. It's not a law. It's not a regulation. You don't have to go through this long process. You just say what you want and you do it. And so we fully expect that everything outlined in Project 2025 has already been written up into executive orders, and that boom, 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 quickly in January, we will see those implemented and those changes will take effect immediately. Now, there, of course, could be lawsuits. There will be lawsuits. There will be a lot of money wasted in lawsuits against these executive orders, but meanwhile, they're going to wreak havoc on immigration. Could Trump take away the I-212 waiver after traveling with advanced parole, planning on adjustment with husband? Anything is possible, Jane. We are not. We're not giving, how would you say? Like some people are like, oh, it can't be that bad. And that is exactly what I said in 2016. How bad can it be? And it was bad. And I kept saying this leading up to the elections, guys, it's going to be bad. But people just don't understand. Shan, again, do you do marriage-based green cards? No, seeing it on your website. That's interesting. I'm going to have to look at that after we get done here. Yes, we absolutely do green cards based on marriage. There are immigration attorneys who do business immigration, and then there are ones who do family removal, humanitarian. We do more of the family removal and humanitarian. I've been an immigration attorney since 2010, so I've done a little bit of the business, but we focus more on the family removal and humanitarian. I'd be happy to talk with you, Shan. I feel like I'm not saying that correctly, but thank you for pointing that out, that it's not on our website. We just did a rebrand and just launched a new website, so I'll have to take a look at that. I appreciate that feedback. Okay. Estamos animando a todos a tomar acción, animar a sus amigos, su familia, tomar acción. Si tiene una opción o si no ha tenido una consulta recientemente, llámanos. Damos una consulta gratuita para ver si tiene opciones. Y antes de que empiece Trump, estamos animando que la gente empiece a tomar acción. Marriage-based applications will continue waiving interviews with Trump. I don't think so. I think interviews will come back, which is going to slow down the process. It's going to make the process more expensive. With legal services, we're already looking at that. We're going to have to increase our fees to cover, stupid requests for evidence, delays, interviews that aren't necessary. Things were really streamlined under the Biden administration, and we're going to see just complications, like I said, stupid requests for information that's already in there. We're going to see denials like we did under the first Trump administration, and it's just going to take longer, be more complicated and more costly. Definitely going to see a return of interviews. Okay. Will this affect the time wait? It was estimated time of year. We don't know yet exactly what things what delays are gonna happen. I'd encourage you, if you're a client watching now, please reach out to us. We're gonna talk directly with our clients about any specific changes that might impact them. It's going to be different. It's going to be specific to each client. So please, if you're a client, reach out to us. If you want to be a client, we are expanding our services. We are currently hiring. If you know anyone who is looking for work, who is bilingual, we are hiring anyone, especially if they have experience in immigration. I started out the live talking about the importance of people who are serving immigrants, who are committing to serving immigrants for the next 4 years. It is going to be very important that we take care of ourselves. Many people chose to leave this profession during the first Trump administration. Some people have already said they don't know that they can continue now that he has been reelected. We have made a commitment. We are not backing down. We are not giving up. We are not closing up. We have been growing actually over the last 4 years, and we intend to continue to grow. So we are looking to fill positions for bilingual attorneys, paralegals, and support staff. And we offer a 32-hour work week because that is going to be something that is very important as we take care of ourselves, as we fight the system, as we fight this regime, I'm going to call it a fascist regime. We are going to need to have time to decompress, to take care of ourselves, so that we have the energy and the fortitude to move on. Why can't immigrants come into our country legally? What is the problem? Ladona, thank you for asking this question. Thank you for being brave. I talk about this a lot, and I would love for you to come to our office or just follow me for a day so that you can understand the answer to this question. I'm not going to be able to answer it completely today, but the problem is that there are very few legal ways. And also the problem is that, for example, asylum is one of the legal ways, but it has been politicized in our country now that people consider that not a legal pathway. And there have been so many obstacles that have been placed in the pathway, even under the Biden administration, so many pathways that have been, or obstacles that have been put in the way to make it literally impossible to immigrate here legally. We have clients waiting years, sometimes decades, some people more than 20 years to be able to come here legally. So that's a great question. I really appreciate that question. Thank you, Ladona, for that question. Please come to our office or check in with if you're not here locally in Springfield, Oregon, check in with somebody who's local, and I'm sure they would love to sit down with you and walk you through. There's actually a diagram. This shows the complicated weave. Can you do this? Can you do that? And the answers usually go to no. There is no pathway for you legally. Thank you for that. MB said, I submitted my application on October 25th. Is there any way it could be accepted before he changes? Depends on what type of application it is. Things usually take longer than 2 months to process. But I congratulate you for getting it in. That's the best first step. C says, hi, just came across your page. Where are you located? We serve clients all around the world. We have actually a team that 2/3 of us are remote. We're currently a team of 15. 10 of us are remote around the world. We have a physical office in Springfield, Oregon, where we have 5 people here to help process things that need to be done physically. But the majority of our work is done remotely. We find that our clients love that. We take calls 24/7. We have Saturday appointments. We have evening appointments. So we, being remote in this way allows us to be flexible. So thank you for reaching out. George Van Tol, the right way or no way? Okay. Please explain to me the right way. Any updates on PIP? Let's talk about PIP, you guys. There was a hearing this week. I was actually on election day that the federal judge heard arguments and received evidence about the parole in place family unity program to make a decision whether or not this program will move forward. The judge has been allowing USCIS to receive applications and even process them, which is different from DACA. DACA has just been like they can receive them, but they can't even touch them or process them. But these cases, we have an understanding that these cases have been processed very quickly and that they're ready to be approved as soon as the judge says, yes, you can move forward with approvals. So we're supposed to get a decision tomorrow. I think it's very likely that sorry, I just got distracted here. Ladonna, thank you. I liked it when Melania said it took her 10 years to become an American citizen. Exactly. And many people don't know Melania was actually undocumented at the time. So was Elon Musk. It just came out a few weeks ago. His own board of directors, people like admitted that he was here undocumented for a period of time. Working without an authorization. So he was a student. He was supposed to be going to school, but he was actually working, building a business and making money off that. So thank you, LaJona, for listening. Thank you for the question, and I really appreciate it. So the PIP program, we anticipate that it's going to disappear after Trump takes office for sure. But our hope, my hope at least, and maybe I'm naive in this hope, but my hope is that maybe we'll get a decision from the judge. The judge will allow the program to move forward, and anyone who's already filed and is in process will be quickly approved. Those people will be able to get their green cards instead of having to wait 5 or 6 years, do a waiver, leave the country, hope that they can come back. That's exactly, those are the things, the right way, the wrong way. Those are the reasons why people can't do it the right way, because it's so incredibly complicated and difficult. Thank you, everyone who's popping on to watch and say hi. Please make sure that you are sharing these videos. We also have a YouTube channel. You can check us out there and you can share these videos. We are promising to be here daily at noon. Until things calm down. There's going to be so many changes, and we want to make sure that information gets out to the right people so that people can understand their rights. Presh, how long typically do you think USCIS takes to make a decision after sending the RFE for adjustment of status? Depends on what they ask for in the request for evidence. Sometimes it's just the medical exam, and that's going to take maybe 3 to 4 weeks for them to approve it after that. But it could have been like an extensive, some information that was missing from the application, or something maybe that's related to a ground of inadmissibility. And so it's really just going to depend how complicated that request was. It might take them longer. It's definitely going to take them longer. They might even issue a denial if it's, okay, you're saying it's been 34 days since they received the medical and the I-864. So yeah, it's going to take them a minute to review that I-864. That's something that if you had filed it from the beginning, they would have already been able to probably approve it by now if it was just the medical exam that they were looking for. Hopefully that answers your question, Presh. Thank you for that question. And I'm just going to say, Presh, I'm assuming that you filed on your own, because if you had used an attorney, you'd be asking them. So I'm going to say this now, and not because I'm an immigration attorney, but it's going to be more important than ever before to make sure that you have competent, qualified, experienced representation, because what we saw under the first administration were these crazy requests for evidence and bogus denials, and then people sent to immigration court because the case was denied. So it's going to be very, very important that people think twice, 3 times, 4 times before they represent themselves in any immigration case. Okay, immigration laws in other countries are just as strict, if not so, more so. I would guess so. I think that most people are trying to get here. So I think ours are more strict, and we have things that are limitations on the number of people who can be approved each year. And so there's backlogs because of that. And that's a simple fix that Congress can make. Even with the U visa that's for victims of violent crimes, they're now, I just heard yesterday, they're now predicting that based on the total number of people who are applying and the cap of 10,000 a year, that it could be like 30 years or more. That's ridiculous. And that is something like, why do we have the 10,000 person cap each year? That could easily be changed by Congress to either eliminate it, would be great, or at least raise it to a reasonable number so that it would take a reasonable amount of time. I don't know if they maybe just didn't consider that there would be so many people applying for a U visa, but that is just bonkers to me. Quick question. Do we do writ of mandamus? We are working on that as a new service. Yes. But I don't think your case. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend that for your case with just a 34-day wait. And there's steps that you need to take before you can sue the government. You have to show that you've done your part to try to get a decision. Is it hard to get approval for an I-929 petition for qualifying family member of a U1 non-immigrant? Yes, it is. It is complicated. You definitely don't want to file that on your own, and we could help you for sure. Give us a call, 541-653-8899. Since Trump is elected, how will it affect pending family-based green card applications? Number one, you're going to see interviews if they're here. Well, there's always interviews if it's at the consulate, but if they're here, you're going to see interviews. They were waiving interviews for most of the last 4 years. So that's going to be, it's going to mean there's going to be delays. Things were getting approved like 6 month green cards. It was crazy. Like people were getting their green cards before they got their work permit even. So it's going to be delays. There's going to be definitely for sure interviews. There's going to be crazy requests for evidence and denial decisions like we saw under Trump. Athan, you have special immigrant juvenile status. Can you be deported? This is like one of my favorite case types. I'm so glad that you did that. I don't know where you're at in the process. If you're probably waiting for a visa, right? There's a backlog on those types of applications too. So probably if your I-360's already been approved, you have what's called deferred action that will protect you. It should protect you from deportation. We don't know what attacks immigration Trump will do to that program, but I would recommend you stay on top of the earliest time that you can apply for your green card so you can get that, and then 5 years after that, get your citizenship. So glad that you were able to take advantage of that program. I'm going to be interested to see which vulnerable groups he attacks first, because we saw that Dreamers were one of the first that he attacked. There were also U visa and VAWA applications that he attacked. So it's always like the bullies that go after the most vulnerable people. And so I am I'm concerned about which people we'll see attacked first. Disculpe que estoy hablando más en inglés porque casi todas las preguntas están en inglés. Entonces, si tiene preguntas, házmelas en español y puedo contestar. You're welcome, Athan. I love that name. I don't know. Athan, maybe? Me encanta su nombre. Y depende de qué país es, porque hay cierta cantidad de visas para cada país, dependiendo qué tipo de caso es. Atán estaba preguntando sobre un caso de visa juvenil. Esos son uno de mis casos favoritos, porque son para un grupo de jóvenes, pues menor de 21 años, que han sido abandonados, maltratados, abusados por su mamá o su papá. Entonces siempre les digo a esas personas, lo siento mucho lo que tenía que sufrir en su niñez, pero ve qué tan bueno es poder aprovechar ahora con este programa aquí en los Estados Unidos para una residencia mucho más fácil que asilo, mucho más fácil que otras opciones. Entonces, siempre recomiendo para personas menor de 21 años, si viven en un estado donde se puede hacerlo entre 18 y 21, aquí en Oregon se puede, California, Washington, Mississippi, Nueva York, varios estados se puede, muchos estados no se puede. Entonces, recomiendo si vive en uno de los estados donde no se puede, que busque amigos o familia donde puede vivir para un ratito en uno de los países donde sí se puede. All right. I've been here since 12, and we're going to be here lunchtime, Pacific time, daily, Tuesdays to Saturdays, because that's my work week. And so I'm committing, before the elections, I was coming on here daily to encourage people to vote so that we could hopefully get a president in who was pro-immigrant, but that didn't happen. So now I'm committing to come on here and give information because there will be so many changes. Barry, ¿qué es el mejor, el DACA o el TPS de Venezuela? Los dos son programas temporarios y creo que Trump va a atacar los dos programas. Entonces recomiendo buscar algo que sea permanente. Nos encantaría hablar con usted para revisar sus opciones y hacer recomendaciones. Nuestro teléfono, hacemos consultas gratuitas a 541-653-8899. Recomiendo a todos, si no han hecho like en nuestras redes sociales, estamos en Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Estamos en todos, entonces hay que seguirnos para recibir la información más al día. Thank you for following us, Barry. Mandeep, I'm 23 years in F1 status. Parents have green card, haven't filed, planning to do, but how long will that take? Are you saying that they're going to file for you? I'm assuming if you're single, it depends on what country you're from, based on your name, maybe India or Asia somewhere. Give us a call and we could take a look at the processing time for you. Make sure that you stay single while your parents are permanent residents. Okay, you're from Nepal, and I'd have to check the visa bulletin for that. But make sure you stay single while your parents are residents. If you marry during that time, you will no longer be eligible. Your parents have to become citizens, and then you can get married. I don't do too many cases from Nepal, so I can't tell you off the top of my head what the wait time is. Is it going to be more than 5 years or less? I would say probably in someone in your situation, I would look to like an H-1B and maybe a green card through that position. That would probably be faster than doing it through your parents, but we'd love to talk with you. 541-653-8899. You've been waiting for over 2 years for an I-45 marriage-based case. That's not common. Luis, I don't know if your spouse is a resident or a citizen. They might be reviewing something interesting there. Your N400 I-751 interview is next week. If approved, how long for the oath? I'm not sure where you're at. Here in Portland, Oregon, they can frequently do same day oath as long as the interview's in the morning, because they do the oath ceremonies in the afternoon. So definitely ask about it, how long it might be. Is there a country we can move to without so many restrictions? Angie, you're speaking my language. I never thought I would be in a position as an immigration attorney in the United States where I'm like asking my husband, where do we go if things really get bad? I don't do immigration law in other countries, so I don't know. Luis, that's a U.S. citizen spouse petition. That's definitely taken longer than I've seen, and I don't know where you're located, but and each office is different. But Yesenia, your husband's been deported and he signed a request to deposition in 2000. He wasn't afraid to return. I'm not sure what your question is. What can be done for his case? Give us a call. We'll take a look at it for you. We do a free consultation, 541-653-8899. Okay, I'm getting ready to end our live. We're going to be back here tomorrow, Friday, noon to 1. Please follow us and you'll be alerted to when we go live. Repeat the number, please. 541-653-8899. You can follow us at Molina Law Group, also Molina Immigration. And we are located in Springfield, Oregon, but we take cases all around the country, all around the world. Papi Roger, are we all getting deported or what? That's a great question, and that's going to be something that we're going to be following. So I hope, for the sake of my clients, my community, my country, that Trump is not allowed to move forward with mass deportations. But I think he's sure going to try. So if you are undocumented, if you have family, friends that are undocumented, or even if they're permanent residents, we're recommending everybody to do whatever they need to do to change that as soon as they can. All right, we will see you guys. Oops. I don't know. I just touched something. Sorry if I did something wrong. Okay, Papi Roger, you're a citizen, but your girl's on DACA. Why didn't you marry her? She could probably get her green card through you, and then you don't have to leave the country or get stuck. I don't know if you have kids together, but if your partner is deported, you're gonna have to decide who's going where. Are the kids going with your partner? Are you all going? Are the kids staying with you, and you're gonna be a single parent? You have a son, see? You guys need to give us a call, 541-653-8899. We think DACA is going to definitely be one of the programs that's going to be impacted. It will likely be ended. Yeah, that's something you guys need to get on. Your Christmas present to your wife, to your partner, your girl, as you call her, should be to say, hey, honey, I talked to this attorney and this is what we can do, and we're going to start this case. Many people say I can't afford it. We are giving amazing deals until Trump takes office because we don't want that to be an issue. So give us a call. We'll work something out. Please don't let cost be the reason why you don't take action. I'd hate to see your girl get deported and try to figure out what to do with your son. So I got to jump off, you guys. Thank you so much for joining. This has been an amazing live. Lots of questions. I appreciate it. I don't know what TikTok is doing to me, but it's telling me it's going to end if I don't do something here. Oops. What is up with this puzzle piece that you have to do? I guess probably because I've been on for an hour now. Okay. But I'm ending now. So TikTok, don't freak out on me. So I will see you guys tomorrow, 12 Pacific, 12 to 1, lunchtime. Grab your lunch. When you come on, tell me what you're eating. I just ordered my lunch. I got to go eat it now before my appointments start. But give us a call, 541-653-8899. Thanks, everybody. Hasta mañana a las 12, almuerzo y preguntas. Hasta mañana.